Hello, my dears. Happy almost 2019. I want you to join me by setting up a monthly contribution at movetoamend.org/donate. This is the campaign to end corporate rule and create the foundation of a genuine democracy. But first, I'm going to tell you a story. The story starts deep inside the redwood curtain. Once upon a time. Okay, in 1999, Arkansas-based company Walmart spent $250,000 to change my city of Eureka's zoning laws to suit them. In 2004, Texas-based corporation Maxim spent $300,000 trying to recall our newly elected district attorney because the guy had uncovered corporate fraud and was suing them for it. My neighbors were pretty pissed about this. So after years of hard grassroots work, on June 6, 2006, my voters in my home community of Humboldt County, passed something called Measure T, the Humboldt County Ordinance to Protect Fair Elections and Local Democracy. Look it up. Very simply, this groundbreaking ordinance said, a corporation headquartered outside of this community is not allowed to spend money on our local elections. Only individual voters and businesses owned and operated in our community can do that. If you're going to spend money on our elections, you need to live here and live with the results. Seems pretty simple. Measure T won with 55% of the vote. 2 months later, my neighbor's decision about how to run their own community got overturned in federal court. Why? On what grounds? The lawsuit, brought by wealthy corporate interests, alleged that enforcing this Measure T would violate these poor outside corporations' First and 14th Amendment rights to free speech and equal rights. You remember the 14th Amendment, right? The one that said that formerly enslaved Black people were full citizens under the law? Yeah, that one. Corporations have been misusing that one since it passed. Be clear, corporations are not human beings with inalienable, fundamental constitutional rights like the right to free speech and freedom of religion. Corporations are property. But wealthy folks have been using so-called corporate personhood for a long time to enhance and leverage their political power beyond what they'd have as individuals. There are lots of stories about this on the Move to Amend website. Check out the story about Denton, Texas, trying to get fracking out of town limits. That was overturned. ExxonMobil is a great one, also a big problem. The story continues in 2009. 3 years after the federal lawsuit that overruled the will of people in my community, Humboldt's Measure T leaders got together with a bunch of constitutional scholars and democracy activists from across the country. They sat together in a living room in a town just outside of San Francisco because they were horrified and furious about the Supreme Court's impending Citizens United ruling. They had a pretty good idea that it would pass, and they had an even better idea that there were millions of people across the United States who were also horrified and furious at the Citizens United ruling. They were right. And that's the year that Move to Amend was born. In fact, our 10th anniversary will be 2019. Now, nearly a decade later, the Humboldt County folks who turned their outrage into action have been joined by 47 more grassroots groups in 18 states and growing, 460,000 petition signers and more every day, 66 co-sponsors in the U.S. House of Representatives, and we're tackling the Senate next, and hundreds of endorsing organizations across the country. The campaign has a plan, and it has strong support, and nearly 9 out of $10 to run the campaign comes from ordinary people who chip in what they can, and I'm one of them. I want you to join me. Please set up a monthly contribution at movetoamend.org/donate. Do it by January 1st, and I will match your total annual contribution 1-to-1. That will double your annual gift. So anyone concerned with climate change, pollution, workers' rights, and similar challenges is going to recognize how important it is to get big money out of policymaking. This is a root cause change we need to make. So learn more at movetoamend.org and join me in the campaign to make it clear that corporations are not people and money is not free speech. Movetoamend.org/donate. Thank you and Happy New Year.